What's going on, everyone? Lauren Sisler here at AL.com. Got my man, the real Mike McCoy, hanging with us today. Former receiver at Alabama, so he's going to talk ball with us as we go head-to-head. Alabama back at home again this weekend to take on Ole Miss, coming off a big win over Southern Miss. The final score there, 49-7. Ole Miss, though, man, what a disappointing loss. You said you watched the end of that football game, losing that game to Cal, 28-20. What a disappointing way to go out. They didn't even review the touchdowns.
Should have been definitely reviewed. I think they need to take that up with whoever the referees were. I think they would have got a better chance. I think the game should have went into overtime.
Yeah, and if it would have gone into overtime, it could have certainly changed the mood a little bit as Ole Miss comes into Bryant-Denny Stadium this weekend. So certainly a history behind these two teams. Not so much in recent years, but Ole Miss defeating Alabama 2 years in a row, back in 2014 and again in 2015. So certainly always been a big storyline, but got to tell you, man, this Alabama team has been dominant through all phases of the game. Nick Saban even said that this football team played their most complete game against Southern Miss this week. And so when you look at the matchup, first and foremost, what stands out to you about the talent and what Alabama was able to accomplish in this football game against Southern Miss?
Sum it up, like Coach Saban said, it was a complete game. I don't think there were many errors. I think the offense was clicking on all cylinders. They threw the ball well. They ran the ball well. The only question would be defense, just because they're a younger team on that side of the ball, which I think you look for those mistakes early on. I would rather them happen against those type games instead of down the road. I'm not trying to look too far ahead, but playoff time. Just throwing it out there.
He's got that process guy in his head, i.e. Nick Saban.
Yeah, so
can't look ahead.
Can't look ahead, but I definitely think it's good that those mistakes are happening early. No touchdown. They're not really getting in the end zone too much, but those big plays, I'm glad they're coming to head now because Coach Saban, like I said, he's a very strategic guy, so those guys get to see what their mistakes are, and correct them.
Yeah, and so the defense, obviously a big question mark surrounding this team, some of the communication. Deontay Brown potentially going to be back this week on the offensive line, so that's another area that, has been a little bit of a question mark for this football team because of the ground and pound. We haven't seen them run the ball. But the coaches are saying, look, we're not going to apologize that we're not running the football when we're throwing it so well, but if you get a guy like Deontay Brown back, Nick Saban says he's going to have to earn his playing time. He missed 2 games last season, the first 4 games of this season for NCAA violations. So with that being said, getting a guy like Deontay Brown back on the line, what does that mean for this football team and perhaps opening up the run game a little more?
Even more scary. Oh man, that's just adding another. That's adding another all-star to all-star roster. So I mean, it's going to be exciting. So I'm looking forward to him getting back. But you better believe Coach Saban is going to make him earn his playing time.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And so Ole Miss coming to Bryant-Denny Stadium. One big question mark there will be at the quarterback position. Matt Corral out, bruised ribs. Matt Luke said that he did practice a little bit on Sunday. He's still day-to-day, so we'll see where he ends up if he's able to come out and start for Ole Miss on Saturday. John Rise Plumlee, the freshman coming in his place, obviously played well, under pressure, was able to almost win the game for them. So it'll be interesting to see how things shake up there at the quarterback position. One area of concern for this Ole Miss football team is most certainly the secondary, and as we see, this Alabama football team has just been torching teams, in the air, and even as far as some of the other playmakers that they have, like Najee Harris, getting the ball out to him out in space, and obviously he's tearing up offense or defenses as well. So, I think that this Alabama team will continue to do Alabama things against Ole Miss, especially their defense. I don't know that you can call it the Land Shark defense right now, can you?
I mean, you're watching the greatest show on turf right now. They're scary. You don't know who's going to score, when they're going to score. And the fact that they're making little comments, like we call them the ride out boys. I call them the yak boys, yards after catch.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So that's a special group, and I think they do a good job they are a real brotherhood, and they have each other's best interests at heart. So it's a selfish group, fantastic group. They look good. So it's a scary offense. I would hate to have to play against them. We'll see.
Okay, Mike, we're going to get to the predictions. And first and foremost, 2:30 kickoff. So once again, I'm looking at the weather forecast, and it's supposed to get up to 92 degrees in Tuscaloosa. So it's going to be another torture. I mean, we are literally rolling into the last part of September, and we're still looking at the high temperatures, low 90s, certainly kind of crazy. So that certainly plays a factor in this. And as Nick Saban said, when you have a defense that's out there having to put in so many reps, play after play after play, because the offense is just torching it, hopefully they can slow down the game, control the tempo. I think we'll see more of a controlled tempo in this football game from Nick Saban and company. My prediction for this football game, I'm going to go 42-14.
And I'm going to go 45-10.